Good afternoon. It is
Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Dan. It is good evening. Where are my manners? Good evening. It is 5 p.m. Welcome to eBuy Live. Anybody out there who is watching us, whether live on demand. Today's live stream is all about remote working, something that throughout the world, I suppose, we're experiencing at the minute. Mm-hmm. And we have some really cool tips and tricks to show you. So we can't wait to do that. And I'm not alone, as you can see, to my left. That's right. I got that right. To my left.
We could give each other a high five if we try it.
Go on, let's go for it, mate. Bang. There we go.
Cool. I know that.
It's pretty good.
First time. Didn't even practice. That was good.
As you can see, we're not in a physical studio, so don't worry about that. We are dialing in. And for the power of technology, back again on the stream is Mr. Dan Boyles. Dan, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. It's good to have you back. Second time on the stream.
It's good to be back. I mean, you invited me back, which is a good thing, right?
Familiar face. Yeah, of course we did. It was a brilliant stream last time. As you can see underneath his name, he is an evangelist for Microsoft, but we'll come on to that in a short second. Mm-hmm. Just to let you know how to interact with us this evening. So we are live currently on ebuy.com, Facebook and YouTube. So if you do want to interact, this is your opportunity to get involved, as eBuyer just did, commented on Dan's hair. That's another talking point, which we will come on to. So get your comments in chat. Let us know your opinion. Ask us some questions, because we have two special guests today, and I'm not the other one. We've got Dan. We've also got another very special guest coming on later from AMD to talk about some new technologies. So that is that. And even if you are watching us on demand, still get involved, because over the coming weeks, the eBuyer team, AMD and ourselves are going to be in there to help you guys out. So feel free to jump in the comments if you want to at a later date. That's easier. Now it's out there. So Dan, let's talk about your experiencing, how you're experiencing remote working at home. eBuyer have put a comment in around your hair.
Let's get it out of the way early. Let's talk about the elephant in the room at the moment. What did they say, and what do they want to know?
I wasn't going to, but it came through. Is that a result of being at home so much?
It was, yeah. So I just thought I fancied a change, and I haven't had this hairstyle since probably about 13 years ago, when emo Dan was a thing, where I used to have the big fringe and like the skinny jeans and that. So I thought I'd why not? So I did it myself, if you couldn't tell. And I've now just got a really random sort of kind of blonde and different coloured coppered patch on my hair.
To be honest, mate, it's a good look. I think you're rocking it. I think you'll be bringing that emo style back into.
I'm stuck with it.
2020.
I can't shave my head. It's a weird shape, so I can't do that.
You've got a little bit of time as well until that grows out. So yeah. Does anybody else enjoy Dan's hair? It's out there now. We've done it. We've got it out there, so we can move on.
However, but back to your question of how am I getting on working remotely? Well, it's interesting. So as you know, for Microsoft, I kind of spend most of my time in different offices and at different events. Yep. So kind of being away from home and not being in the office is the norm for me. How am I finding it sort of being at home every day? It's interesting. It's good. I get to do a lot more things like this, and we get to do like reaching out to a lot more people, running a lot more webinars and training, which is kind of what I love doing. So yeah, I'm enjoying it at the moment. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, I share a similar kind of position, I suppose. You know, there's an awful lot of conference calls go on in my life anyway. So not a lot's changed. And, you know, I think some people are being super affected by it, especially people who aren't, I suppose, used to using these kind of technologies to, you know, enable these conversations, people who kind of do face-to-face meetings or have a job where that's all it is about. So...
And I think the other thing, just quickly interrupting on that one, I think the other thing as well is that if, you know, people are not scared of the unknown, but it's not even knowing that you've got all these cool sort of functionalities and features at your fingertips that actually can help you working from home. Because, you know, if you're working from an office, maybe Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, you've got maybe your 4 or 5 applications that you need to run, and that's all kind of like locked down. But if you're suddenly at home and you've got kind of a strange environment and little things like just being able to blur the background if you've got a busy background and stuff like that, there's all these really cool features that, you know, Microsoft have and our partners and everyone else that people don't even know about. So it's kind of our job to educate and to give the power to the people.
Yeah, and not only can you now blur your background on Skype and Teams, which we are using right now, you can also replace your background as well with some images, can't you? Which we're not going to demonstrate right now, but
It's quite fun.
If you like a bit of fun on a conference call or you want to spice things up, it is a good way of doing it. I think it's been the best icebreaker ever for me. Like going on to a meeting with some peculiar backgrounds, it kind of breaks the ice.
Yeah, and it gets people talking about it as well. Because people didn't know you can do it. Well, how did you do that? Well, you can do this. Why would you be doing that? It's cool that you can, but the why is the bigger thing. You're doing it because you may be in an environment that you might not people want seeing behind you, or you might have children in the house, or your partners, or housemates and stuff. So, yeah, it's just that ability to kind of put the focus back onto you and make sure that nothing goes on in the background.
Yeah, 100%. So today we have got you on stream to talk about all this good stuff. And we've already hit the ground running, suppose, with some tips, blur background, changing your background. What else do you think is important? I suppose if people are trying to be more productive at home, if people have just gone out and bought a PC, or they're thinking of going out and buying a PC to do stuff like this and maybe continue work, what kind of points have you got, like you'd like to discuss and bring up, or some advice for the guys there?
I think the biggest thing, number one, is just be comfortable. Whatever you're doing, make sure that the setup you've got is comfortable for you. And I know it sounds stupid, but make sure that you got your chair at your correct height. That if you want to lean back a little bit, you're not leaning back too much. Make sure that the lights are on bright enough. So, I wear glasses and contacts, but if I don't have my lights on in my room, and as much as it tempted it is just to sit there with the lights off and look at a screen all day, I get really bad migraines at the end. So comfort is number one tip for me. If you need two monitors, make sure they're the same height. If you get the right mouse, make sure you've got a mouse that works for your hand type as well. So comfort's the biggest tip. And just make sure little things like put stuff on your desk that make you look at it, and you're not just looking at a desk with work. Have your little comfort. So I've got my little Freddie Mercury pop heads and stuff that I put on stream, and just keep on your stuff that around you. Stay hydrated and stay comfortable. That's my adult tips and stuff.
It's such a great tip, and my missus at the minute has literally gone from something that was very physical and didn't involve any of this sitting down and talking to people to she's now actually sat down. And I caught the other day at the desk with a neck like this, like looking at a laptop screen. And all I've done for now, just as a quick fix, is just put the laptop up on a few books and got an external keyboard and mouse. Yeah. And that alone has really kind of helped her to be more productive. Obviously, we're going to move now towards a desk and a monitor and things, but just that alone was such a great tip.
I think the other thing as well is
totally agree.
Yeah, so with the setup, but make sure you take regular breaks. If I'm not on calls, it's quite tempting for me to sit there from say 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. and just work. Crack on with the stuff, get emails down. There's no distractions, but make sure you take your regular break. If you go for a coffee normally at 10:30, get up, have a walk around, stay hydrated, eat regularly. Because it can. I live on my own, so you can fall into a bit of a funk where actually I can sit there from 9 a.m. till 2, 3 p.m. Not have stood up, not have spoken to anyone, not eaten. So it's just keep it. Although your regular habits have been broken, make your new sort of routine and your new habits. Make your new normal being at home.
That is the one. There's a lot of people currently joining us. So welcome to everybody who's joining us live. Like I said at the start of the stream, be sure to get involved in chat like some of you are doing right now. Dan's just joined us from Microsoft, and we're going to talk about tips working from home. Also, some of the technology that can help drive that and can help improve your life and working from home, because it's a new environment for a lot of us, but definitely not Dan. So he's our expert. We've also got another guest coming on later as well from AMD to talk about some new technology that can help you out. There's a couple of people I'm going to shout out. Hey to Andy Austin. Nice comment. Not going to read it out though.
Andy Austin, how you doing?
AMD are in chat as well. So if you want to ask AMD something and just want to do that in chat, do that. eBuy are also in here as well. So the eBuyer team are also getting involved. So any eBuyer questions, whether it's about monitors or peripherals, webcams, that kind of thing, they are the guys to get in touch with right about now. And comment here from Mark. Agrees about comfort. Having spent several hours in video meetings the last few days, it's top of his list. 100%. It's one of them things that's easily overlooked, and it's the one thing that'll stop you from working from home. I've done my necking before years ago and never do it again.
Yeah. I think you had the really quick tip before we move on to the next bit. Gaz, I think you had the really good, great tip there that if you are working on a laptop on a table and you haven't got a stand, just put a couple of books down. You know, I've got 2 phone directory books in my front room, like away from my desk. If I need to put a laptop on there, it just gives it that couple of extra inches so you're not hunkered down. Because if you're looking down like that the whole time, just the back of your neck gets so painful, your eyes, everything. And it doesn't make you very productive and doesn't get you motivated for doing it the next day either. So.
No, it feels like a bit of a chore. Another great comment as well from Philip about standing desks. They're quite popular as well these days. In fact, I've got one on order at the minute, so I'm excited for that one to arrive. And that should be coming in the next couple of weeks. And a comment around just availability of kit. So it tends to be a bit of an issue. So yeah, maybe eBuy can help you out there. eBuy, if you can get in chat and just have a chat with Jeff Wills about anything that could be in stock, maybe we could give you a helping hand. So all good. Keep them questions coming in, guys. Remember, if you're watching live on demand, we will be getting back to you, whether that's through the chat or live now between myself and Dan, and Matt will be joining us later. So let's kick on. What else? I mean, if we've got our comfortable space, I suppose, and we built a nice working environment, what else should people be considering when they're making these purchases? Like what would they buy first, and what's the importance of buying this stuff?
What are we talking from a home setup point?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think obviously your accessories kind of make your environment, but your device, everything is about the device you're working from. Just before, are we jumping on to discussion 2 now, or are we still on discussion 1 with some of the points on here?
No, yeah. I mean, if you want to talk about devices, that's cool. If you think a device is important, I'd agree. I think there's so many devices out there, and I get this an awful lot because I know quite a bit about tech, and I always get the calls from different people. But if we're talking about a business device, let's say, what should the things that people look out for? Because you can buy anything.
Well, that's the thing. I think, you know, sort of if we go on to it, that your home setup needs to be everything you need to do to work properly. So what's important? Well, your physical health and well-being is important. You know, having the right lighting, having the right device, accessories, and making sure everything's accessible, that's fine. But actually the device is the heart of everything you do. You know, your laptop or your tower PC or however you want to run that is the heart of everything you're doing. That's your sole point of focus and your contact to the outside world. So that kind of has to be powerful enough and represent everything that you want to do from a day-to-day business point and not let you down. Because we were discussing before we jumped on the call here, imagine if I'm doing a presentation to you now and I've got 100 people, 200 people watching us live. And because I've got Skype open and I've got this window open and I go to open PowerPoint, if it takes 2 minutes to load, well, that's not good enough, really. That's not good enough if you're representing the brand that you work for. You need it all to kind of be seamless. So I think at the heart of everything is your device. And then it's silly things off the back of your device. You know, is it able to have a HDMI output so you can have a second monitor running? Does it run on USB-C? Is it compatible with the existing peripherals you've got? You know, how do you, the device that you purchase or that your company purchases for you is so key in your journey from working remotely. And especially now, if everything's kind of new to you, setting it all up as well.
Yeah. I mean, like you said there, just little things like the modern bits that you need to plug it into a screen. Like if you're rocking a device without a HDMI, it's time to go and get a device. Definitely time to get one. Maybe you've got other things as well that you want to plug in, like a mouse, or you need Bluetooth. You know, that's another one.
There's so much stuff. Yeah, you know, you've got wireless, you've got Bluetooth, you've got USB-C, you've got, you know, how many ports do you need? Do you want to hardwire into your device? So do you need to make sure that it's got your input for that, or do you just solely want it so it runs on wireless? Or there's so many little things that people need to kind of be considerate of. And then that's only the physical build. You know, do you want a big screen, or are you going to be running it into 2 different monitors? Have you got an extra monitor? Do you need a slightly bigger screen? You know, because if I'm working in the office, I've got a nice big 21-inch monitor to work off, and I can run my video editing, I can run my PowerPoints. If I'm trying to run all of that off of a single little, you know, 11 or 12-inch screen on my monitor on a portable laptop, then it's gonna be a lot harder to do. There's so much stuff you can think about when it comes down to it.
Yeah, and it's key. I mean, it is the heart of your work area. It is the thing it's probably the thing that's going to put you off. If you get a device that's not going to keep up to the demands that you're used to, let's say you're used to working in an office with a high-speed computer, and then you go home and you get a different type of effect, it's going to be the first line that affects your productivity and kind of your morale to actually work. So 100% agree with that one. If someone is buying a Windows device, there is different versions. There's Home, there's Windows 10 Pro. For somebody who's considering buying this for work, we hear it an awful lot. You should tend to go for a Windows 10 Pro device. For people out there who don't understand why is that? Why should someone choose a device that's a Windows 10 Pro device over something that's like Windows 10 Home, let's say?
Okay, so you take Windows 10 Home. Windows 10 Home is effectively what it says on the tin. It will do everything you need to do to work from home. And actually, the way it's built and kind of the back-end security and all the stuff in there is focused for that device to do everything that you need to do, from your home documents to your internet browsing to anything that you want to do personally. Browsing the internet, watching film, streaming music, it will work for it. Now, where Windows 10 Pro separates from that is that it's built for the commercial world. Now, we're about to start throwing out some big terms and some sort of going into the security stuff, but
grab my buzzer.
Where's the buzzer? Have you got it?
Got it. I've not got it.
Just honk into the microphone when you need to.
I will do. I'll do a human buzzer.
Okay. Can you do that noise now quickly before we carry on? It's like a 7 out of 10, but I'll accept that. That's fine.
It's good. It's okay. No practice.
So Windows 10 Pro, when you go onto it, the security side to it. And in fact, I sent someone over to Liam earlier. I wonder if Liam could pop that up onto the screen for me. So what you have here is the evolution of Windows, and let me just bring that up so I can see a bigger version of that. So the main thing is you can see that in the top right hand side you've got the key of the colors on what everything is, and then on the bottom you've kind of got what features are here. So if we look at the security side, you can see that on Windows Pro in 7 and 8, you have things like BitLocker and TPM, which is where we kind of secure the physical side of it. But then it goes up and there's a whole load of extra stuff here that gets built upon. So we're looking at things like Windows Hello for Business. Okay, and if you're looking at Windows Pro or Windows 10 Pro, Windows Hello for Business is facial recognition, which is actually compliant with security regulations that are needed to keep your business safe. You know, a bit like we said before, we unlock our phones with our face and our fingerprints, but we should be doing that business as well.
Yeah.
And if we go a little bit onto that, I won't get too heavy in the tech side of it, but if we are joining up remotely to a domain using things like Autopilot or Intune, which is kind of like an automatic way that network managers can remotely manage the image of the PC, you can actually use Windows Hello and say that it's a necessity as part of the two-factor authentication to log on. You know, we're sort of speaking more for the compliance side of things now on the security side, but you know, Hello for Business is a massive thing to call out because it makes sure that the person at the end of the line effectively is still keeping their device as secure as possible. And there's a whole load of other stuff as well. You know, you've got ransomware, for example. I was trying to think of the word then. Do you remember WannaCry that happened to the NHS? Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I definitely do. Maybe repeat for people who aren't aware. They might not have seen it. What was that?
So WannaCry was effectively a ransomware that got uploaded onto a terminal in the NHS. And all ransomware does is it completely locks down all your files and all your operating system. And if someone on the other end of the line will say, hey, unless you send me 10 Bitcoins to this email address, you won't have access to your system.
Yeah.
But the worst thing about WannaCry is because the NHS effectively is one kind of massive network, as soon as one PC got it, it transferred to another PC, and all of a sudden you had like massive portions of the NHS that were down and no one could do anything about it. Well, kind of what happens now in the Windows 10 Pro is we've kind of learned from that, and we've mitigated against that in the sense that when you now click on links inside files or on websites, when it opens it up, it will actually sandbox it in its own little protected part of the machine. So if there's anything bad on that, as soon as you close the window, that's gone completely. You know, if any ransomware happens, then you can use things like OneDrive and all the backup features just to remove that and just carry on as normal.
It's one of them things as well, security. If you're working, like you said, for your business on behalf of another company or your personal company or brand or whatever that may be, you really don't consider it until something bad happens. Literally last week, my missus, she's not really doing much with regards to her business at the minute, but this came through on her personal email, and it was in line with that what you just said. It was a ransomware basically saying, I've got your passwords, I'm in your computer, and unless you send me, it was some ridiculous amount as well. It was something like £8,000 and £9,000 to this account immediately. I'm just literally going to share everything all over the internet. And it's worrying. You know, I work in the tech industry like yourself, and it's something that I could, you know, help her out with, and something that I could support her with. But for somebody who doesn't know about that stuff, I reckon around about this time, where they know loads of people have just been out and bought a load of computers to work from home, there's probably going to be more of this kind of going on. And, you know, to get Windows 10 Pro with them added security features, I cannot recommend that enough. You know, I'm using that on a day-to-day basis as well. And it's just, for me, it's just like that comfort blanket that I need. One less thing to worry about. You know, I like worrying about my clients, not the security of my PC.
I think, yeah, you've hit it on the head there. And again, kind of seeing sort of the evolution of that. If you start in the grey colours at the bottom and then go up to the blue, you can see that actually we're adding stuff to it more and more. And you kind of said, why Windows 10 Pro as well? Well, you know, we're going to talk about a massive one in a second on there. But if you do need a machine that, you know, can make you more productive and gives you that management parts on there as well. If you look in the middle on the right-hand side of the screen, we'll just look at the productivity that we've added since we've gone to Windows 10 Pro.
Yeah.
So we've got virtual desktops and task view. So, you know, you can run different desktops inside your machine for different projects you're working on. We've got Windows Ink. We've got Cortana for Business, you know, enterprise search in Windows, timeline, which is a massive one for us, intelligent search. Then you've got cloud clipboard. You've got all these great things from the productivity side that you just don't simply get from your Windows 10 home version. And then you go into the management side. And again, on the management, that's a lot more kind of the network and the server stuff, which we won't talk too much about today. But you've got autopilot, you've got subscription activation, you know, the ability that you don't have to have your physical license key anymore. You can just activate it through your online portal. You pull it down. If you're pushing those out, then it's an easy way to sort of deploy images across it. So the question is, why would you want Windows 10 Pro? I think the question is, why wouldn't you want 10 Pro if you're going to be looking at a business device?
Yeah, it's a great comment. And, you know, all you guys out there, let us know what you think. I can see some more comments are coming in through chat, so we'll shout out to a couple of people. Jeff Wills is recommending a Logitech C920 camera.
I'm using it at the moment.
Bit of a conversation. Yeah, same here. So, yeah, I second that. Bit of a conversation going on. I think Becky is responding to a few as well around how you can get in touch with eBuyer. So if you guys want to get in touch with eBuyer, feel free to do so. Our guys are there in chat now to support you. We've also got a couple more comments coming in as well. We've got one here. Hello from Newcastle. Well, hello to you as well, Dave Brown. Welcome to the stream. And we've also got some more comments in around just talking about smart tech in general. So a comment here from Mark saying he uses his smartwatch quite a lot to kind of, I think this is going back to your comment earlier around just making sure that you're putting breaks in, making sure that you're treating yourself like a real human at home. Don't just turn into a work machine, and, you know, using a smartwatch for that. I think that's a really good comment.
Yeah, and if you tie that into the Windows 10 stuff as well, you know, I'm just here to talk Windows 10 today and everything that Microsoft bring onto it. But there's some of the features now in Windows 10 Pro where you've got things like Focus Assist. So actually gives you that time to do it. And do you use Focus Assist? Do you know what that does?
Yeah, I do. And I think what we'll do as well in a short second, we'll hold that for now, because I think we're going to show it. We're actually going to show some of these tips and tricks. So yeah, Focus Assist is something I use an awful lot. I think the thing that it really helps me out with the most is when it's that transition from work and home. So when I'm using my PC for like regular home stuff, I don't mind my Facebook messages coming through and my notifications that I'm getting a delivery and all that kind of stuff. But when I'm working, it's a mega distraction, and that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, you don't want that going through. Just little stuff on there. I'm the same as you. You know, my PC is my PC. So when I'm at home in the evenings, I don't really want my work stuff coming through on there because it's a reminder of stuff I need to do or stuff I haven't done. But on the same way, when I'm at work, I don't want Steam popping up. I don't want Spotify or anything like that popping up on there. I just want to focus on my work stuff. So you got some focus stuff. But I think I'm just reading back on our plan. We had a plan that we were going to talk about, and the plan's kind of jumped a little bit around. But I've got on here, why is your device so important? And I think we've nailed on it. Microsoft always look for key partnerships with different brands to make sure, whether it's from a physical side or a software side, that our customers can have the best experience. Our tagline is to empower every person and organization on the planet. Well, actually, how do we do that? And I know that today's stream is with AMD, and we've got some really exciting stuff with AMD that Matt's going to talk about later. But it's really having a solid device at the base and the heart of everything you do. And what do we want off of it? What do you need a device to do? I need it to turn on when it turns on. I don't want to be waiting 5 minutes for applications to be loading. Do I mind that in the office? I don't want it in the office, but I definitely can't have it at home. If I'm talking to Liam or talking to you before the stream and say, hey, can I just send this over? Well, I need to be able to snip the screen quickly, edit it, and send it straight in Teams. I don't want to be waiting a couple of minutes for that to happen.
No.
We need that, the connection needs to be solid on it. The processor needs to make sure it can handle, as we were saying, I've got like 8 applications open at the moment. I'm streaming to you, I'm streaming on something else, I'm screen recording, I'm making notes, I'm still getting emails pinging through, I've got Photoshop open in the background, and I've got a couple of other things, but it's still kicking through and it's still managing it. And if it couldn't do all of that, well, the stream would fail, and actually my sole point of contact to the world is my computer, and it just wouldn't go very well. So
yeah, no, it's a good point. And all them juicy features that we're seeing coming through now from Microsoft and Windows 10 Pro, which we touched on earlier, they only work as well as they can with like a decent processor, decent SSD, a modern device, as a lot of people refer to it as. And I suppose that's the recommendation, right? Is it to get something that's like modern, new, uses all this kind of technology to like make your life better?
I mean, my first car was a Ford Fiesta. It was a 1.2 litre Ford Fiesta, right? And I can remember getting on the motorway and driving 90 miles an hour 77 miles an hour down the motorway, and it was fine. But after about a month, my car blew up doing that, right?
Oh, yeah, it would.
If I went and bought a Tesla tomorrow, I could comfortably do that mileage down the motorway every single day, and I'd only be limited by the actual amount of electricity I had in the car. So when we're looking and we're putting that in a comparison now for, devices that we're buying, then yes, is it worth investing in a device that's going to give you that longevity, that's going to be able to handle everything you're throwing at it? Because if not, after 2 or 3 months or a year's time, it's going to blow up and you're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, it's true. Sorry, Dan, I've just with the hair, and you said that was your old look. I can just imagine you right now driving that Ford Fiesta and loving every minute of it. You've kind of took me right back to that moment. So good story. Good story. Commenting as well, Ford Fiesta, a lot of love from Ford about Ford Fiestas. So yeah, slightly offbeat, but a great story to share.
But you get the idea, right? You get the idea that if you want to be driving up and down the motorway every day, you're not going to go and buy sort of an 800 or a 900cc car. You're going to buy something that's got big enough boot space that you can drive up and down every day. And that's what we're looking for, because although we're working at home and working remotely from this period in time, potentially could this change how we work in the future? Yes. I work all around Europe and around different, sometimes I sit in Starbucks, sometimes I sit in a different, or other brands are available. Sometimes I sit in coffee shops or restaurants. Sometimes I work in offices. So for me, working remotely, I'm used to it. But actually now I'm starting to look at my device going, do I need to upgrade to future-proof myself in this in case we need to sort of do something like this again for whatever reason?
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. Guys, what do you think in chat? Let us know. What device have you got currently when you're working from home? Have you been out purchased a new one? Are you in the market for a new one? Do you think else? Is there some other technology that we're unaware of that you think is helping you out? Let us know. Get your comments in chat, and we can help you out. That's what today's stream's all about. Right. I think we're going to change it up a gear. We did mention we were going to show some of these features off in Windows 10 Pro, and we are going to do exactly that. So if we can just switch over. There we go, like magic. We've got our desktop here, and I suppose anybody who's familiar with Windows will understand what this looks like. It's not changed for quite some time. And what's the first thing that we want to show the guys? What's like your number one tip? Let's go there for people who are maybe working for a business and working at home.
Okay, my number one tip before we kind of bring the actual demos up there is something called domain join. Now, our task is to kind of bring this up and sort of bring it to life, but domain join is really important. If you go out and buy a Windows 10 home device today, and you get home and you want to try and connect it to your network using Autopilot or Intune, a Windows 10 home device will not be able to do that. And effectively, you would have bought a laptop and you'd wasted money on it, because it means you cannot connect to your domain. When you can't do that, you might have VPNs or virtual desktops or internal networks that you can't access. And I think up on the screen at the moment, there we go. We've got up here where it's showing that, this is how you set up a work or education account. Now, if you have your home license, it just won't let you do that. And effectively, like I say, you may have spent anywhere from £300 to £600 on a device that is now defunct and does not do what you need it to do. And
for anybody who's missed that, all they have to do is make sure they get Windows 10 Pro, right?
Mm-hmm. Get Windows 10 Pro, and it's really easy. It's a bit strange for me, so I'm not actually doing this demo. There's some magical person on the other end of the line is doing the demo.
You are magic, Dan. We know that. We know this. So
in a moment,
maybe it's some form of telekinesis.
You can see here that the magical person on the other end of the line, all they've done is gone to add account through system settings, and then it's got on here. Yep, so they're on Windows settings. They go to accounts, click on add work or school account. And it's just a quick button there. So they can click on connect and they just type your credentials in. So for me or for Liam on the end, it would just be an @microsoft.com email address, or anyone at home could just pop their email address and password in for their work, and it will let you access everything. So it will let you run OneDrive. It will let you run your PowerPoint, your Outlook, and all your native Microsoft. On that. So.
Yeah, good stuff. And we did manage a quick demo on how you kind of access that feature if you are unfamiliar with it. What else can we show the guys? What else helps people kind of in Windows 10? Timeline
for me,
I'm a big fan.
One of the biggest things. So I don't know about everyone else, but every day seems to kind of feel like a Thursday at the moment, because like I said, I live on my own. I'm not really speaking to that many people. It's really busy at work. Every day is a Thursday. I don't really know what day is what. And actually, by the time I've started work in the morning, sometimes I start at 9, sometimes it's a little bit before, sometimes I work till 7 or 8 at night. There are so many different files and so many different websites and different things that I've done. I can't remember where I've saved it. I can't remember where it is on the thing. And I can't even remember what the website was that I was looking at where I found that bit of information.
Yeah.
Timeline allows you to look back over a period of 30 days and see all your activity of everything that you've got on. So as you can see on the screen at the moment, up here. So actually, can we just show how we access that again? Sorry.
There's a couple of ways, isn't there? So I think there's a Windows shortcut, and I think you can physically click on it. So if we click on it first, is it just at the bottom of the taskbar, is it?
It's at the bottom next to Cortana. It's like two little rectangles on there. If you click on that, so you can see at first, you've got earlier today. And this is all the stuff that you've done earlier today. And we can see that on there, we've got Excel, we've got Word documents up, we've got websites, we've got other stuff on there. And if you click on that, it will bring it straight up. So if we were to click on that file there, it will just bring it up on there for me.
Yeah, and that's what we had open a second ago, isn't it?
Yeah, just before we jumped on the team. And actually, even if that was an Excel or a Word document, all you've got to do is click on it and it will bring it straight up for you. So that's if you were looking at that earlier on today. As we can see on the screen there,
it's one of them features as well. I'm a big fan of timeline, and it's the one feature that has saved my neck over the last few months more than anything else, because when I've been traveling around quite a lot prior to this, and like you said, you lose track of people you're speaking to, you lose track of your clients, and things kind of blend in, and more so today, like the current climate that we're in, and it's been one of them things, without fail, and I say this wholeheartedly, without fail, timeline has saved my neck every single time I've needed to find something, because I've gone back to the day, or checked my diary and gone, well, it's definitely within this date period, because I remember I've got it in my diary. So all I have to do then is go back to that date and it's there. The other thing as well is the search. Like, I've used the search a couple of times, but mainly it's just dragging down to that day in moment in time when you knew you was working on something.
Yeah.
And yeah, you get it. It's good.
I think there's one thing on there as well that we didn't see is where it has a list of like earlier today and it will say yesterday or the 21st or whatever. If you actually click on the see more option for yesterday, for example, where it goes to yesterday, you can expand it to everything you've done. This is every activity you've done.
I did not know that.
So now you've got and it says the time frame as well. So you can see that at 3 o'clock, between 3 and 4, we did these options. At 4 o'clock, the only thing we looked at was this. And from 5, we Googled Virgin down, Virgin Media down, etc., etc. Now, if you were to click on that website, it will take it straight onto that website that you visited.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool feature on there. Like you say, you can really dig down. And for me, you know, because I work on so many different accounts with different partners, I've got so many different versions of things.
Yeah.
If I know that on a Monday I was working with eBuyer, well, I can click on Monday and go back to all the eBuyer files that I had open for that time, which is pretty cool.
No, that's really cool. Yeah, let us know what you think in chat. Once again, shout out to everybody who's been getting in your comments. There's been a few comments in again around the Logitech C920. People are interested in this webcam. It is good. I have used it and I'm using it right now. There is a comment as well. I think it's back to your earlier days. Martin's just cleaned his Escort RS Turbo. What a car. What a car. That is a classic.
That is. Martin, I'm impressed for that. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Picture in chat. Yeah. I'll have a look at that later on. That seems pretty awesome.
It's nice. And then another comment about purchasing Dell XPS 2-in-1. Looking good. Thunderbolt 3. Talking about tech in general. A lot of love there for the XPS. It's another device that I love as well.
Yeah. I think on the back of that as well, very quickly, when we looked at Task View on there, some of the other stuff you've got is Snap Assist. I love Snap Assist. And this really comes to its own. Working from home, like I'm lucky that I've got 2 big monitors set up at the moment, and I've got a third monitor if I need it up there. But Snap Assist, if you've got a limited working space and you want to sort of share 50-50 between an Excel spreadsheet and an email, as you can see on the demo there, all you've got to do is make it a bit smaller, drag it to one side of the screen, and literally it'll give the option whether you want it to be 50-50 or you want 2 things on one side. And now you've got a perfect working space between a reference point and an input point. So for me, like I said, I was doing an email earlier on to one of my colleagues, Dale, and I needed to copy some data from one side, reword it into my own phrase here, rather than having to minimize it or kind of drag it. So when I clicked on another screen, it disappeared. I just had them perfectly running half and half in the screen there.
It's exactly what I'm doing now. You know, I've got the notes that we've got for the conversation we're having, and on the left hand side, I've got our faces. So it's such a cool thing, and I use it constantly.
Yeah,
constantly.
And like I say, all you have to do is just drag a window to the side of the screen, and you'll get the little kind of bubbles that ping out, as you can see on the video there. Go to the corner, and it will just automatically size it. You let go, and it'll put it onto the half, and it'll bring up what windows you want to put on the other side. So yeah, it's just an awesome little thing onto that. Now, multiple desktops. Do you know about these, Gareth?
I do know about them. I've got to admit, I don't use them as much now because I have the benefit of having a couple of screens, like physical screens.
Yeah.
But before I did, this was another hot one for me. But yeah, let's walk them through this because this is
we've all done it. And I've done it not when I was working at home. I've done it before when you're sharing a screen online or you're sharing a screen somewhere and there's something on that screen that you don't want other people to see. And that might not be a bad thing, but it might be customer presentations. It might be your work emails that are up. You might not want people to see any notifications that are popping up on Teams. So how do we do that? So if we go back onto the timeline view that we looked at earlier on, you'll see at the top there, it says new desktop. At the top. All you have to do is click on new desktop. We go onto there and we have desktop 1, 2, and we can have 3 as well. Now, if you were to click on one of those desktops, you can then open up a window inside it. So you might open your emails in this one, for example, or Word or anything like that. You open something on your desktop.
Yep.
And then you go onto desktop 2 or a different desktop, for example. And when you can open something else.
PowerPoint or something like that. Oh,
yeah,
store.
Doing a bit of. But now, if you're sharing that desktop on that screen, your files and everything are still the same, but it's only what you've got open on that desktop will be shown on your shared screen. You know, imagine your desktop here is like having a screen 1 and a screen 2. Whatever you have on screen 1's not going to get multiple desktop. You won't see that separation. You've only got on there one thing that you want to share, and that's where it really comes into its own. Now, what I do personally is when I'm in customers' offices, I might have eBuyers emails open on one side and their files. On the next one, I might have Microsoft files. On the next one, I might have AMD's files. And it just means that whatever I'm looking at, nothing can ever sort of pop up that shouldn't have to pop up. And it's just really, we've really got to be cautious at the moment. It's so easy when you're working from home to share a screen. And, if we were to share one wrong thing on the stream now, actually, we could have like 1,000 people see it. And that one bit of information can have like quite, good and or bad impact for that. So we want to make sure we avoid that as much as possible.
Yeah, and it's one of them. If you've not got the benefit, which many of us don't at the minute, who have been kind of almost forced to work from home at the minute, you might not have the setup like I've got here with a couple of screens. I tend to just use my real screens to drag things around. It's just it just really does emulate that. It really emulates it. And if you've never tried it out, give it a go, because like Dan said, whether it's just to keep organized or whether it's just because you like things full screen, you can literally just slide between the two desktops, and it's just like having another screen or another computer almost side by side.
Very last thing, are we done on the demos now? Are we going over to Matt on AMD or?
Yeah, I think we've covered an awful lot there. Guys, what do you think? Have you been enjoying these demos? Dan's just been showing you some of his tips and tricks on Windows 10 Pro, on things that you can do, which you might not have noticed before, or something that you might have noticed and you might not have used it or utilized it. And before that, we were reminiscing about some of the good old days. And also we were talking about some other tips as well. So if you are just joining us, welcome to the stream. This is all about helping you guys out and helping the wider community out about remote working and working from home more, and the technology and tips that are available to us to help us out. If you are watching the stream, be sure to chuck a like on it and get in the comments, because like we said earlier, this is your chance to ask Dan, myself, any of the guys in the eBuyer team any questions. We've also got AMD in chat, and good segue, we've got another special guest coming up very shortly, Matt from AMD, to talk about a device recommendation. That's what we're going to move on to, because we've talked an awful lot so far about general tips in Windows 10 Pro, why you should consider Windows 10 Pro, and it all boils down to getting this right device first off. So we've got a device recommendation we're going to show you. We'll bring on Matt. Is there anything else from yourself, Dan, that you are itching to talk about or you want to make aware to everybody who's watching currently?
I think the biggest thing is if you're at home and you are using Microsoft applications, whether that be Teams, Teams, we've seen such an uplift in Teams, and it kind of really unlocks what we can do from working at home, whether that's collaboration, whether it's file sharing or the chat feature. In every single application you got from Microsoft, there's a little help button in the top right hand side or the bottom left hand side. Click on it, click on the help button, and just have a look at what's new in all the features. If you're rocking a 365 subscription, now known as Microsoft 365, you get new features added every single month into those applications, and the features we're adding benefit you from working from home. They're not features we're just using for fillers. They're kind of like all killers, no fillers. On Teams, there's a whole load of stuff you can do on Teams now, such as replying directly from Teams into messaging and things like that. Just check out the help feature, because there's so much stuff, and even I learn every day. There's new features you can have in there. So just check that out. Our aim goal, whether it's I think everyone's, whether it's eBuyers to Microsofts to AMDs, is that our customers get the best service and the best products for them. So enjoy the rest of the stream with Matt, because I'm sure he's going to talk about some cool stuff from AMD. I'll be honest, I'll just be in the background. If anyone's got any questions, I'm happy to answer them at the end of the stream also. So good stuff. And thank you for joining us again, Dan. It's been a pleasure. If you do make it to 3 streams, I believe there is some kind of reward or prize that you get. So we'll work on that, and you could be back and you could be the winner of our third stream prize. I think at the end of the 3rd stream, what needs to happen is I need to beat you again at FIFA on a live stream somewhere.
Could happen. It could happen. It could happen. But we all know how that will probably work out. We all know how that will probably work out. But thank you so much, mate. Been great to have you, and thank you for sharing all them tips as well.
No problem.
And we will move on. Our next guest joining us on the stream this evening, or maybe not evening for them, but definitely evening for us, is a special guest from AMD, all the way from Austin, Texas. Matt, who is the Director of Commercial Client Business. That's a fancy title, Matt. How are you doing, first of all?
I'm doing great, Gareth. Happy to be with you today.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Now, commercial director of commercial client business. I got that one right. What does that entail? Because it sounds like such a huge role, and I'm sure it is. But what, I suppose, for us guys who are watching right now, what does that actually mean?
Yeah, great question. I'm responsible, and my team are responsible for our business tied to both our small and medium business, as well as our enterprise class processors. So we work very closely with Microsoft. We work very closely with our OEMs, and strong partnership with HP here to deliver our great business class products, both notebooks and desktops.
Yeah, I mean, and there is a ton of them. I've been looking up recently, especially around work devices and different options for people to purchase. There's some exciting stuff happening. Before we move into that, I suppose, how is what's it like in Austin, Texas currently? Are you guys enduring the same kind of working environments that we are in the UK? Are you on like remote working, as it's been called?
We are, yeah. We're all working remotely right now, and I think as it is for many people, it's a bit of an adjustment. We've completely changed our work environment from being around our peers all day, every day, to having to communicate remotely, using a lot more video conferencing than I think we're all used to, and so it really changes the dynamic from a communication perspective. And I think, frankly, we're having the same conversations that a lot of people are, which is, what are the right devices you need to have to maintain a productive work environment, but also one where you can, blend that work life and home life, because that blend is looking very different these days than it has historically as well.
Yeah, and my personal opinion is, I think what's going on currently across the world is not a one-off. I think we're moving into a time now where I think this is going to become the new norm, not around the COVID or anything like that. I just mean the way people are now moving into this home work-life balance. It seems like that shift was happening already before what happened with the breakout, but now I think I get the sense of feeling like this is going to continue. And I think getting the right technology to enable that is 100% what people should be doing. What kind of technology have helped you out specifically? I'm sure you're rocking some type of AMD-based PC at home. But for anybody who's watching, what kind of things are helping you at the minute working from home?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely rocking the AMD technology. For me, I think we talked about this a little bit earlier with Dan. The home setup with the desk and the large monitor is important. Yeah. For me, also having a modern laptop that has a camera and a good speaker system so that we can communicate more effectively over video conferencing. That's another one. And then outside of the technology, I've found, for me at least, it's been a bit of an adjustment to, sit in my office all day long. I'm used to being up, working with people, collaborating, moving around the office. And so it's been important to me to find a way to take a break a little bit every, 1 to 2 hours, make sure that there's time to grab some lunch in there. And then the other thing that's actually been interesting that we've started within my team is 1 or 2 times a week, we just have a little bit of an informal call amongst all my team members. And that's actually been a great way to maintain a sense of collaboration and, partnership with the team. It's something you don't think about on a regular basis, but that engagement with your coworkers is actually really important to maintain morale and maintain productivity.
It's super important. And I suppose I have had the advantage of doing this for a number of years now. And that, for me, like getting a workout in, moving around, not being like kind of chained to your desk all day, which it's so easy to do. Like, it is so easy to creep into that always working environment where you might not physically move much apart from your wrist and your fingers for like 3 to 4 hours, sometimes longer if you're really locked into a project. So
yeah, and you'll just find yourself getting stuck there, not even realizing it, and then you look at the clock and it's 4 hours, 5 hours later, and it's really, it's not the most healthy thing for any of us. So finding a way to get some of those breaks and really get a little bit of physical activity, even if it's just moving up, going to the kitchen, grabbing something just to kind of stretch out. I think it's important. It's good mentally too. It gives you a break and allows you to reset.
Yeah, it definitely does. There's a few comments just coming in chat, which I didn't get to shout out before. I think these are still talking about the previous conversation, but I'll get them in there anyway. Dan Thomas, shout out for you, my man. He mentioned here a real game changer for multitasking. I think he was talking about the demo we were showing earlier where we were splitting screens. So yeah, I agree with that. Also as well, there seems to be quite a little bit of interest in a FIFA competition that Dan threw out there. eBuyer saying that they're going to host it. So do you play FIFA at all, Matt? Maybe we can rope you into this FIFA tournament if it ever happens.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, anything. Bring it.
Dan's managed to jump back in. He is magic. What about yourself, Matt? Are you in for it?
I'm in. Let's do it.
FIFA big in your world, or is it more like
it's growing? I would say it's growing. We don't have that football culture here in the U.S. the way that you guys do in Europe, but certainly it's growing. And actually, here in Austin, we have a soccer team that's moving here as we speak. So it's exciting,
nice.
And certainly an area of interest that's growing here.
Oh, that's good stuff. Well, one to park. Cool. So let's move on, I suppose. One of the things that I'm itching to talk about, and since you're on the stream, now's a great chance to do that, is the year AMD are having. I know a lot of customers out there might have heard of AMD. Great if you have. And if you've not, now's a great time to learn about the company. What a year for people in technology. I suppose a lot of press comes around CES, which was, earlier. And I think particularly AMD demonstrated quite a lot of new technology around the most powerful processor on the planet. What's that been like for you? And can you just kind of fill in the blanks around what a great year AMD are having and what it's been like to get to this moment?
Absolutely. It's been an extremely exciting year. And honestly, it's been an extremely exciting, last 2 to 2.5 years.
Yeah.
We've really kind of experienced a revival in the company. And frankly, this is one of those areas where it's many years in the making, years and years of engineering development of a new lineup of products based on our Zen architecture. And we're continuing to really deliver some leadership class products to the market. We're excited, as we look at our commercial business, we're excited to bring some technology to bear here in 2020 that has already proven to be disruptive and deliver leadership capabilities in desktop and mobile gaming. And now we're taking those technologies and pushing them into the commercial notebook space, where we expect to really be able to deliver a new standard in terms of what customers experience with performance, more cores, more threads, better battery life, really delivering the solutions that our customers expect and need when they're multitasking and need a solution that is enabling them to work, remotely or on the go. So very exciting times, very busy, but it's great to have an opportunity to introduce new technology. It's great to be able to partner with the likes of Microsoft and with HP to deliver some of these world-class platforms. It's really exciting.
Yeah, and I think CES is one of them. It's a crazy show. It is. I have had the pleasure of being there a couple of times, and it always blows my mind with some of the technology that's on show. A couple of the highlights that were announced this year, from AMD specifically around, really powerful processors. And I think for people who are watching the stream and who are just considering buying a PC for working at home, what does that actually mean for them? Because, I doubt we're going to recommend they go out and buy one of these supercomputers with all this technology. But how does that kind of trickle down, I suppose, to the technology that we're going to move on to maybe recommending or helping people with a purchase decision?
Well, I think the great thing about, the new line of products that we've got with AMD and the platforms that we have with HP here is you're really looking at a performance capability that just a couple years ago was only available on a desktop, but now it's available in an ultra slim notebook platform. So with our Ryzen 4000 class of products on these HP Probook platforms, as an example, we can deliver up to 8 cores of performance and computing power in a very thin chassis with great battery life. Again, ideal for that multitasking. And then, this platform on top of that has been designed with a strong focus on collaboration. So it's got a great camera and speaker setup. It's got, the privacy shutter for the camera to give you the privacy, when you don't want to be showing that video because your kids and your family are running around in the background. Really a great solution all around.
And we've just brought it up now. So for anybody interested in making the technology a little bit more tangible, because, we've been talking about CES, we've been talking about all the fantastic stuff AMD are doing. This is the technology that then trickles down into something that you can easily go out and purchase, something that, in my opinion, when I saw this device, it really did kind of change my opinion on what a business laptop could be. Like, if I think back to when I had a business device, it definitely didn't look like that. And is that kind of testament to the technology we're expecting, or customers should expect to get now in a business class device?
Absolutely. I think it's a testament to the new technology that we're bringing to the table, but I think it's also a testament to the partnership that we have with both Microsoft and HP here.
Yeah.
There's a strong focus on delivering these modern devices. We think, business users want a very good piece of hardware that they could use for their work life, but they also want something they're proud to carry around, and they want something that they, feel confident in terms of its ruggedness and durability. And so across all of those facets, it really, to deliver these types of technologies, it really takes that strong partnership. AMD on the silicon side, Microsoft at the OS level with Windows 10 Pro, and then, of course, HP, who pulls it all together with a great platform.
Yeah, and it like we were discussing earlier with Dan, the importance of these modern features, that just make your life so much easier, whether that's logging in with your face, whether that's, the security added with the TPM side of things. So you've got more security than ever before. Whether it's just the simplicity of plugging in a HDMI cable into a screen, and being able to do a conference call because of the microphones and the webcam. This is kind of like, for me anyway, it kind of summarizes what we've been talking about. It's got great build quality with HP. It's got the Windows 10 Pro installed, and also powered by a really powerful AMD processor as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great platform. It delivers, again, on that productivity piece, the battery life, and you mentioned security, and that's an area that increasingly we're seeing, we've always known that a lot of enterprises are very focused on security from an IT perspective, but increasingly we're seeing users who want to feel confident that they have a secure solution that gives them that privacy. And so, the security features that are enabled in collaboration between AMD and Microsoft at the OS level, the privacy features on the platform, and then using our modern architecture, our Ryzen 4000 architecture, which frankly was designed from the beginning with a strong focus on addressing some of today's biggest security threats. It really delivers a well-rounded solution.
And I think just the look of it, I've got a soft spot for nice design. It definitely doesn't look like I said, when I think of a business device, I think of something that just doesn't look nice, just something that's there to do a job. And, fair play to you and the guys at HP who have sculpted something that looks like anyone could go out and use that, and I think that's the aim, isn't it? To have something that can cross that, I suppose, work-life balance.
It is, absolutely. And something also that's very easy to take with you, right? That Probook is only about 3.5 pounds. So, just a little over got to do my math conversion here, but about 1.5 kilograms. So real lightweight, real mobile, and something that is easy to throw in your bag and take with you, so that you can kind of take that productivity wherever you go. Right now, a lot of us are working from home, but when you get back to, visiting customers and being on the road and just wanting to be able to take it down to the coffee shop, it's a very, very mobile device on that front.
Yeah, it's a good point. A couple of comments coming in. Guys, if you are just tuning in now, welcome to the stream. This is eBuy Live. I'm speaking with Matt currently, who's from AMD. And what we've just been talking about, if you've missed any of the stream, is tips and tricks on how you can remain productive while you're working from home or remote working. Some really nice tips, general tips as well, about how you can increase your productivity and also stay sane as well, I think has been one of the conversation topics that we've had, whether that's dyeing your hair a different color or doing something else like just setting times and breaks and things like that. Maybe if you don't set breaks, that's what happens. You dye your hair. Who knows? And we've also been showing off some really cool features in Windows 10 Pro as well. Dan was on earlier showing us that. And currently we've got Matt. And before we finish up, it is your chance to get involved with some comments, questions that you've got while we've still got Matt on the line. It's a great opportunity for you to do that. And even if you're watching this on demand, please get your comments in anyway, because myself and the AMD team and also eBuyer will be in the comments to help respond to any of those questions as they come in over the next couple of days. A couple of comments, one particularly around a bit of a debate going on, which is good to see. Keep them coming in, around what kind of role a PC plays in today's market. And there's a comment here from Gwyn saying phones are actually becoming the new computer. I tend to disagree because I do a lot of work on my PC, but I use my phone as a companion device, if that makes sense. What's your take on that there, Matt? Have you got any comment to add there on phones and mobile technology from an AMD standpoint?
I agree with you. I think they both have their place, no question about it. I use my phone all the time. It's key to me being productive, to my communication, to managing my calendar, all of that. But it also, it's a situation where I find that having a really good laptop is much more productive when I need to go create content or when I need to go drive collaboration. So to me, it's not that one is the right solution and the other one is the wrong one. It's a matter of really figuring out how to pair them together so that you can be the most productive.
Yeah, I agree. I think that even like the ability to have, like I've got a wireless keyboard set up here and same with the mouse, like the ability to do all that and the power you get, the true power you get currently from a PC, especially if you're doing things like we're doing now, like live streaming, bringing different people in, doing multiple things at the same time. I just currently can't see that happening. And, thanks to the power and performance of some of these devices that we've just been showing, particularly the HP Probook, which I think we've got a link in there in chat now. If you do want to go and check that out, please do so. I just get more done. I can type faster. I can work quicker. And like you said, it is that companion piece. I still use my phone, but I don't think I use it for much more than answering calls and replying to things and checking up on emails, really. Sweet. I think that's about it. From yourself, Matt, is there anything else that you'd like to discuss or bring up around what's new on the horizon for AMD? Is there anything else that you can discuss or announce?
Well, there's nothing else I can, announce at this point, but I certainly would say it has been an exciting time at AMD. We have over the last couple of years really proven our capabilities around delivering a new level of performance and productivity in the platforms we've worked with. We're excited to be growing our portfolio. And, I think there's a lot more coming this year, especially in our commercial business that we're really excited about. So what I would say is keep an eye out for that. And we're really looking forward to seeing the public get access to some of the platforms that will be arriving later this year.
Yeah, thank you for that. I will definitely be looking out. I'm very interested in what's going to be coming AMD's ways. Really good YouTube channel as well, by the way. I've been checking that out recently. Some nice interviews and some good content on there too. Guys, if you are still with us, thank you. This has been a little bit longer than we actually had planned, but, it's about getting you the right tips and tricks. And I think this long format really works. I think we got through quite an awful lot. If you did miss any, do not fear. This will be available on demand on Facebook and YouTube, I believe, over the next coming weeks, so you can check back to your heart's desire. If you have enjoyed it, please help us out. Give us a like and a share, because sharing is caring is what we often say on this stream. So share it out far and wide. There might be somebody in your network or group who may benefit from seeing this stream. I know there's an awful lot of us out there now who are remote working. So yeah, chuck a share on it, and we will be back with more content over the coming weeks, so keep it locked at eBuyer. If you have any questions, still get them in, because we are still going to respond to them. And one tip that we always talk about on this stream, if any of the subjects or any of the things that we've talked about today, you're a bit uncertain of or a bit unclear of, the eBuyer team are amazing. And all you have to do is give us a call on the number which we will put in chat, and one of our helpful people on the other end, or get involved on the email, will give you as much help as you need. So whether that's choosing the right device, getting the right peripherals, getting the whole package, it can all be done at ebuyer.com. So go and check that out. That's all from me. Matt, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully we'll get you back again at some stage. And I hope you're keeping safe as well over in the States.
Thank you much. Appreciate it. Happy to be here. And same to you and everybody else on the phone. Let's all stay safe.
Yeah, and I double down on that as well. Hope everybody else who's watching is keeping safe. Keep it locked to eBuyer, and we will see you on the next one.
Just make sure you get FIFA ready, guys. Cheers, mate.